We're going to do a short routine that's going to be really rich in movements that are very slow and deeply, deeply restorative, as well as a few movements that are physiologically, musculoskeletal, anatomically really, really important for helping to release tension in this part of the body. And the focus at the moment is immunity in the classes that I'm teaching. And some of the classes I've been doing have been about sinus drainage and helping to release tension through the throat and helping to release tension in the chest so that everything can drain well and there's flexibility in the chest. But part of wellness, part of immunity is being balanced neurologically and hormonally. And I have always found that the movements that I teach that come from Qigong practices that I've adapted slightly are the ones that make me feel the most deeply balanced. And so that's what I want to teach you. And as a couple of my students have said recently, it really is often about working in rather than working out. And for me, the movement practices that we do need to be the whole spectrum of working in and working out. It's what I so love teaching, and really, like, if I can impart to you one thing, it would be being able to feel a sense of vitality moving through the body that we get when we move gently, not just that kind of big release that we get when we do a big workout. And I know the joys of both things. So in this class, I'm going to teach you my favorite sequences to steady yourself, to balance yourself, and to help you feel the sense of vitality moving through your body like a wave of wellness. So let's stand like I'm standing with the feet about hip width apart. And let's go straight into a movement that in the elements around us has a quality of water to it. And so bringing your imagination straight to the feeling of fingertips brushing the surface of water, as well as just allowing yourself to arrive. The arrival process takes a good 5 to 10 minutes from what you've been doing before to what you're doing now as you start to harmonize and balance. And this movement has a slight twist to it. So the hands go behind, they go out, they twist around behind you. And you feel with your fingertips. It's not just kind of like a la 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 movement. No, it's really slow and rich. So you probably want to slow your pace down. Go the other way now. Allowing your weight to shift from side to side. We need to recuperate movements often. So as we do these simple movements, you want to feel your weight transferring. You want to feel your hips swaying over to one side as you reach out to that side. And feel your hips move to the other side as you reach out to the other side. And then let's change it a little bit. One hand stays in the center and one hand is going to trace a circle. And then that hand is going to come back to center and pause. And this palm is looking down at the ground. And the other hand then moves out. So we make a figure of 8. We make an infinity symbol. And one hand just holds center. A reminder of where the center point is. While the other hand shifts out. Very slow again. Really be mindful here that these movements, the switch that I see a lot of people needing to make is just from like doing a nice movement like da da da, lovely, I'm moving my body. No, we're moving with really deep intention here. I'm repeating myself because I see it so often, and And we're switching out of where the mind can kind of just be free to wander, to actually really paying attention to what we're feeling with our hands. And what you're feeling with your hands is the fingertips coming alive, to feel the air, the temperature of the air. To feel, to notice with your senses the space through which you're moving. And it sounds so simple and looks so simple. When you practice this again and again, you start to become deeply steeped in the benefits, where you really notice your nervous system, just like the pieces of a puzzle coming back together. And the pieces of the puzzle is your inherent wellness, your inherent balance. Okay, now let's just do some wrist movements. So just like a opening, closing, circling, moving your wrists, moving your fingertips. And then let's go to the arms. So we have this gentle arm movement, and then the fingertips of tracing the air as they come down behind you. Let's do 3 times. Back of the wrist lifts. Arm reaching up, fingertips tracing the air. Back of the wrist lifting, the hand hanging heavily down, the arm going up. And then the other side, the arm coming up. And you can turn, twisting around. Or you could just keep your head looking forwards. The back of the hand is heavy, lifts. And one more. And then coming into this combing movement that we've done for the ribs, this intentional release. So we bring the hands in, releasing tension with our mind's eye between the ribs, the intercostal muscles, the hands kind of flicking out at the end, circling back in, the hands moving down, hooking, releasing, opening. One more. And then in our mind's eye, see your fingertips coming back in and reaching deep within you to release tension from the back. The back here, the back where your ribs meet your spine. Going up, slowly. Like you're opening a jacket. And as you open this jacket, it's just this release out. And then let's go into a movement where we're going to be drawing strands like a cobweb coming up, just like so. So you can just practice this movement. It's as though you're bringing your fingers into the center and then lifting filaments of some kind of light strand of a cobweb. Just feeling that connection between this place here, which is in some cultures an energy center, lifting up. And just notice the arm movement. Notice the grace of the arm movement. And notice the way in which as we reach up, as I reach up, as you reach up, the chest kind of opens. We open, extend a little bit. And then as you bring the arms down, you can just slightly, very slightly come in. And then combine it with a step, and a very slow step. So your step is going to basically be the heel, the ball of the foot, coming onto the front foot, lifting the back heel, and then slowly stepping back. And then the other side. So if your balance is, I'm sure for all of you it's okay, but what I notice very often is that as we slow movements down, we lose our balance because we're used to kind of doing things quickly. And if you've got a knee issue or an ankle issue or some instability in your pelvis, pelvic floor, then these slow movements become rehab movements. So we can actually use it And it is mimicking, obviously, a walking pattern, which we can do unconsciously because that is laid down in our brain early on developmentally. But here, using it as a rehab. So just taking these steps with me before we add in the arms. So heel, ball of the foot, all the way on the front foot. And then reversing the step. Just notice there where it can be a little bit more challenging. All your weight goes back and then lightly stepping back. Your step forward slowly is likely going to be slightly easier than this movement in reverse. Just paying attention and doing that and doing it well, practicing. And then let's bring the arms in so we can have the arms come up. And it just adds this tangible quality of beauty and incredible grace, which is what I love, and the feeling of vitality and wellness that comes from this. These movements are so important. And so then this becomes working in, as well as moving our limbs to get good joint movement, good balance and coordination. And to reclaim a part of us that is sensual as we feel the space around us, as we breathe slowly, as we move with grace. The hands, as they come back in, the fingertips just kind of feather and then regroup and they come together again. And again, notice I'm moving very slowly. And I would like you to also move slowly and connect to every bit of the movement. Bring your mind, bring your attention to each moment. The whole movement as it's happening, and your whole body. Connect with your whole body. Hands, fingers opening. Let's do one more on each side, slowly. And then from here, let the arms float down and the feet come side by side. Take a moment. There's an in-between. Pause for a sip of water. Pause me. Catching your breath. I'm going to have a sip of my green tea. Let's go to our next movement. We're going to take a step again, but our step is a little bit more sideways. So we're going to move like this. And then we step back. And then we shift our hips, kind of 45-degree angle, and step like that. Just do that with me. Slow again, but a little bit more angled out. Allowing the different range of movement just to show you perhaps where maybe something's a little bit trickier. Just using it as an exercise to just train yourself in your balance through your hips, knees and ankles. And then we're going to add to the movement on the other side. So our hands are going to come here, elbows behind us, and the hands push, the palms face forwards. We push, we turn the palms, and we pull and make fists. And we bring our hands back as though we're bringing energy through and into the back of the body and into the kidneys. We push. And then our hips initiate the movement and we pull back in towards us. And we push. And we pull. Again, go slower. Take the time to find the mechanics of the movement as you learn what I'm asking you to do and coordinating the pieces. And once you've done that enough times, then get into the feel of rhythm of the movement and the richness of it. You can also turn this into a walking exercise. So we would go like this. Same, same. But then we would push, take a step. Pull to shift your weight back, but instead of stepping back, you're going to push and take a step. And so we weren't not going to turn out quite so much as before now. So push, pull, step. Step. And then you'll push, you're going to step. Let's do it a few more times. And you can go in a circle around your space and actually doing this movement for 5 minutes, just as a slow walking meditation, is really nice to do. Okay, let's just let that go. Shaking the hands, shake the fingertips. And then I want you just to come back to your arms again, do some circles. And then bring your arms around, so we go to the twisting movement. Swinging your arms. The side that your arms go to, you lean onto that foot. Shift one foot forwards, one foot back. And then the other way, so the other foot is going to be forwards. And this movement is faster than the other ones because we're just using the swing of our arms to get us into the movement. And then bringing your legs back. And then let's go through our little immunity sequence to help to drain the tension from here and finish us up for this little class. So let's bring our hands to our face and just make circles around the eyes. And then I want you to take the hands from the bridge of the nose out, brushing over the cheekbones. And then make circles again from the center up around the eyebrows. A strong pressure going in circles that get a little bit bigger up to the hairline and then back down again. And then from the bridge of the nose out across the cheekbones. And then even just going slowly down, getting into the maxillary sinuses down below the cheekbones now. Out to the temples. Let's do that a few times. Nose, below cheekbones, to the jaw, temples. And then bring your thumbs and massage. It can be thumbs or it can be fingers. Massaging under your cheekbones, pushing like pressure points, pushing up. Try and have your jaw relaxed. Just kind of come closer to show you. Just going out and back in. And you're pressing up and then releasing. And you'll find tender points in here. And this is helpful for decongesting these sinuses. And then let's tap. So the percussion, the vibration is also helpful as a sinus release. Especially after if you have a diffuser and you've inhaled some eucalyptus or something that helps you to decongest. Rosemary as well is really good for bringing blood flow to the brain. Tapping, tapping, tapping lightly. And then out and down across the masseter muscle to the chin. And then let's do some circles at the temples. And as you do that, you can open and close your jaw, helping to activate the eustachian tube to get drainage. And then coming behind your ear and either rubbing and tapping, whatever feels good, gentle massage behind your ear. And then run your fingers down your throat from just behind your ear, coming down diagonally towards the center, the top of your chest, where your collarbones meet your sternum here. And then go slightly in front of those kind of that bandy muscle, which is the sternocleidomastoid. And this in there, when you get swollen in your throat, there's your lymph nodes, the chain of lymph nodes. So just stroking, and that can be whatever it feels like. Good to do it strong, good to do it softly. And then the center as well. And as you do the center, you can jut your chin forwards and just smoothing. And that feels good too. And then let's come to the chest. As I've talked about before, it's really important if we're doing work on our sinuses to work on the chest so that we have good drainage. And for the support of our airways, our lungs, our bronchi, which is the airway that comes down into the tubes that go into the lungs, you need flexibility in your chest. Good flexibility helps to get things moving and get rid of the bugs that come along. So just massaging out to the edges, under your collarbone, right to the edges of your chest. And then percussion again. So we have the pressure points, we're massaging, and then we also have this percussion. And then percussion right in the center as well of the chest, over your sternum. And you might be surprised how good it feels actually to do this movement over your sternum. A lot of tension right in the center here. The sternum kind of gets pulled in. And then just to open up the chest a little bit more, let's bring the hands behind and just stretch the arms behind you, turning the hands out so we get a stretch on the arms, the chest. Maybe doing some small circles. And this movement that I'm doing now, this is the kind of movement where just some circles, just some general movement, as opposed to the movements that we were doing before where I wanted you to really, really connect. This one is just, let's get the movement in here. Let's open things up and stretch. So let's circle the shoulders. And then here you might want to again just do this movement where we connect. Now the real connection, the slowness of just the rich imagery of the fingertips hooking in and releasing, combing between your ribs. front and back. And let's finish right there.